I had a high school orchestra under Alice Joy Lewis. I was my third year of playing. By the time I got to college, the school, my high school, dropped the music program, which didn't slow her down one bit. She actually flew over to Japan, studied under Dr. Suzuki, and started the Suzuki program in Kansas, and that got really big. They came from all over the United States every summer to work with her. I just liked her perseverance. She turned something bad into something great, and she was very well known. She passed away about 5 years ago, and students from all over the United States came and played at her funeral.